Okay, we're back now, and we've got the gauge moved from the side of the machine over to in the work area there. And like I said before, this has quick disconnect plugs on it, so this can be removed easily. So here's the MARPOSS amplifier. This is a new one to me. I'm used to the E series. This is a P3 from MARPOSS. And basically what it is an analog scale here, kind of like an analog voltmeter. And you have 0. And this gauge head, if we swing over here, acts as a kind of like a caliper that rides on the workpiece. We're looking at a very expensive piece of equipment here. Rides on the workpiece while it's being ground. There's lots of little adjustments and little ways of making sure that this is accurately going in and out and riding on the part the right way. And you have to keep in mind uninterrupted cuts or interrupted cuts if you're grinding a spline. These things are designed to be able to go over that. All that stuff has been taken care of and thought out 40 years ago. These have just evolved since then. But you've got your coarse feed, and the needle is going to go down as the wheel is moving in through the feed of the machine. And as the fingers close around the workpiece, you're going to have this needle coming down. Finally, it gets to the end and it bounces back to the bottom scale or the top scale, which is much finer, until you come down and you turn on one of these lights here. And these are all settable by, it used to be a little screw you'd use here. I'm not even sure how you do it here, but you set your firing points to come on, say the fine feed to start 5/10 from 0, and the stop feed to stop maybe 1/2 from 0. So you're relying on the machine sparking out or just the pressure alone to go with the other 50 microns or whatever it is you need to get it down to 0. The machine will not stop grinding until this needle gets to 0. And when it gets to 0, it kicks out. The wheel goes back, the gauge goes off, the coolant shuts off, and it's really pretty cool. And if it's not exactly the right size, all you got to do is make a tiny little adjustment right there. Doesn't care if your wheel wears down, it's just the greatest thing. But if you're not doing production, it's really production meaning more than I don't know, a dozen parts or so. But it's a great system, and it comes with the machine. And that's about that for that. So anyway, I'm going to show you how it runs. We're going to turn it on, and you're going to see a bunch of lights going here. Goes through all these checks, and the needle bounces around. And it used to be you could touch these things and find out where they had the points set, but I don't know how to do this one, and I'm not going to mess around with it. It's not going to work anyway because it has to have a part. But when we do the cycle now, the gauge goes in, and once those fingers close on themselves, and these actually need air. There's actually a really neat connection on the back of this amplifier that's air electric. So that's what you're seeing there. It's kicking out. It's not getting to 0 here. It doesn't pay attention to this feed rate. I mean, you want to have it going nice and slow. What it pays attention to is when those fingers go past 0. And as they close on nothing, it just kicks right out. So there you go. That's the MARPOSS in-process gauge and the amplifier. There's a book on it. There's plenty of information from MARPOSS. They're really great guys. Shout out to Colin Ames if you see this video. And let me show you one more thing. The people who had it wanted to have kind of a foolproof setup. So they switched that switch over there to the #1 position or the auto position. And now you can do your cycle from here with the cover down. The only way this button works is if you have this hood down. All right, so one last thing I need to do is to turn the grinding wheel on here for you, because I haven't done that yet. Whoop. Well, this is interfaced with the machine. If you don't have the key in the right position, you'll find that you can't turn this anymore. It's hydraulically locked. And that's done purposely. So let's. What was I going to show you? The wheel. Okay. Thank you, assistant. So there you go. It's a hydrostatic bearing in there, one of the best in the market. I've never seen one go bad. The noise you hear is the air being sucked through this motor to keep everything nice and cool and the wheel spindle cool. It's done that way on purpose. The hydraulics are built into the machine. They're in the base. After a while, the whole machine gets to a certain thermal stability, and that's what they wanted. If you're looking for precision, if you're looking for small parts grinder, batch grinding, this is the machine for you. CHUDIN.